Oh, there he is. There he is. You want some hydrogen? Here we go. Here we go. Some more. So remember, energy changes forms from one type to the next. It can't be created or destroyed. Tell him. Yep. So we're going to give him some hydrogen. We're going to let him fill up. Okay, let him do his thing. Welcome back to Water Power Planet, everyone. And today what we're going to do in this video, we're just going to keep spamming the web. We're going to keep spamming these sheeple with these clean energy videos until they give up and break away from these non-renewable energies. Think about that. We're just going to keep spamming it. We're going to keep spamming the internet day and night with these videos day and night until they give up or give in. So what we're going to do, we're going to take them down to the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to talk about the chemistry here and some of the stuff. Let me get this container. We'll go down there and we'll get some ocean water right out of the Atlantic Ocean. So what we're going to do, we're going to head down there. We're going to get some clean energy. I'm going to show you guys how you can use that. I see you guys are already driving on a hydrogen. Think about it. Gasoline is mostly hydrogen. I'm going to take you guys over to the Atlantic Ocean so we can look at all the hydrogen in the world. So we can get away from these non-renewables, man. You know, we got to get away from these non-renewable energies. We're going to get the hydrogen. See, there's plenty of hydrogen out there. Water. So I was able to get these little claws off the beach out there. These are saltwater crabs. I'm going to show you how you can use the oxyhydrogen fuel cell system without using the salt water. What you do is you have to distill it. See, this is the ocean water right here. It looks exactly like the regular water that I have in the reactor here. So I'm going to turn this on so I can show you. See, that's my distilled water that I created from the salt water. Took me a little while to make that. I don't have a really good distill. But just to make sure it had no salt in it, and I had to taste it to make sure it was completely fresh water. Now, at first, the salt water is very highly conductive. It has almost no resistance. So it conducts electricity very well. I'm going to show you that right here. This little setup. This is my negative electrode. There's the positive electrode. See, and I have it hooked up to the same power, but I'm only going to turn it on momentarily because I want to show you what happens. Okay, now that's it. Now see what was created over here at the positive electrode. So you got to have a carbon fiber electrode to do this. See, the chlorine ion, the chloride ion is the problem. That's why you have to turn it into fresh, clean drinking water. You can't use the salt water. See, the best way to deal with it, a lot of people ask me what the chemistry was like. How do you get to the hydrogen and the oxygen? Well, it's very simple. You can turn the water into fresh water, and then you add your electrolyte. You see, I added my sodium carbonate electrolyte to the fresh water I created. Otherwise, you're going to create hydrogen over at the negative electrode, and then you're going to create chlorine over at the positive electrode. And that's an element that's going to destroy your reactor instantly. If you have metal electrodes in there instead of carbon fiber like this, and I can smell that over here. You can smell it. It smells like a pool store. So you don't want to create chlorine on the positive electrode. You want to turn it into fresh water so you can use it. That's the secret. The sodium chloride is the main ion in the water. That's what makes it so difficult to use the ocean water. People were asking me, are we going to be able to pull up in our cars and just fill them up right there on the beach? And the answer is yes and no. I mean, if you have a system on the car that can handle all that and produce the hydrogen and deal with the chlorine, that's great. But it's kind of like the hydrochloric acid. Think about that. You're going to get chlorine over at the positive electrode, and you're going to get hydrogen over at the negative electrode. So the best way to deal with that is turn it into fresh, clean drinking water. See, and as fresh water, I can just add my electrolyte, and it produces hydrogen and oxygen gas only. So those are the two atoms, my negative electrode and my positive electrode. That's the only way I know how to get to the oxygen. See, and I told you the sodium was the key. That's why you always get hydrogen over at the negative electrode. Think about that, because the sodium atom, what happens to sodium when you put it in water? It turns directly into hydrogen. So the seawater elements, there's sodium chloride, sulfate, bromide, magnesium, calcium, potassium, mercury, gold. There's many elements in the seawater. Many different minute concentrations. So the best way to handle your seawater is to turn it into fresh water. You make an endless amount of hydrogen and oxygen gas, and you only need enough to fill the reactor. You never want to put salt water in one of these, or ocean water. You want to turn it into fresh water. You'll destroy the entire thing in minutes. So understanding the chemistry is very important with that ocean water. But the sodium atom is always the key. Think about that. That's why you get the hydrogen over at the negative electrode. So we'll move on. I'm covering a lot of different stuff in this video. Like I said, I'm just going to put the videos together as fast as I can. So understanding your chemistry and being able to build your reactors. You can see this one's drying right here. I worked on the bottom receiver, the bottom core. This is where the exciter array is at. See, this one's designed to operate very quickly. This is for my torch. So see, the salt water, possibly the source of life itself, is out there in the ocean. And the earth is blessed with an abundance of the water. It's even in the Bible, in the Genesis. It tells you all about that. The earth and the water and the abundance and the dividing and the splitting of waters. So I thought I'd throw a lot of that in there. Infinite power. So it's all about electromagnetism. It's all about creating electricity. It's about getting to the gas. So getting to the electricity, that's even easier than getting to the water. I can't even turn my light switch on without getting electrocuted. Oh, God. So you can see the electricity is very easy to get. Just wanted to throw that in there to make sure you guys understood that not only do we have access to the water in an infinite supply, but we also have an abundance of electricity, and we're going to cover that next. So it's all about equipment and supplies. I'm just going to keep putting these videos together as fast as I can. You know, I'm constantly testing equipment. Let's show you what's in here. Look, this is what I use to work with when I'm working with my reactors. Take a check it out here. Look at this. This is what's in here. So I usually cover my reactors. You know, when I build something, it's for life. You know, I build supplies and I build things. This is a lifetime reactor right here. And if something happens, I can cut it in half, and I always leave them longer so I can work on them in case something breaks or something cracks. You know, it's PVC. I can always work with it. I can always get creative. There's some of the stuff in here. Look, flash arresters. You know, this is very important. Look, we got quenching technology, my bronze wool. You know, magic lube, thread tape. We got tons of thread tape. Make sure you got plenty of this stuff. I mean, if there's only two things I can have in the world, it would be this little bag of my valves and my stems and stuff, and this. And I could build as many reactors as I wanted, really, if that's all I had. But it's nice to have all this extra stuff. See, I got more connections. These are for my power supplies, tungsten rods for cold fusion reactors. Everything you need that's going to keep your system running. Very important stuff in here. I'm trying to show you guys this. See, look over here. You're gonna have to have hacksaws, hacksaw blades, quenching technology, sandpaper. There's a hell of a lot of sanding. So that's what I'm doing over here right now. I'm sanding these. I'm sanding all the letters off there. You can see those letters. So I have to sand all that off there. Everything's nice and smooth. So these are some of my cables. So get some really good cables. These are jumper cables, and I turn them into power supply cords. You're going to need different power supplies. This is for the Leviathan. You guys haven't seen that yet. This is for the Behemoth. So I move these long range. You know, I can move these around and stuff. So you got to have these connections. You know, these are electrical connections. Very important. So we'll continue on. We'll just keep going on. So here's a reactor base right here. It's completely done. It takes time. You know, it takes a couple days to dry this. And then I'll go ahead and finish the top half. So I do the bottom first. And it's really easy. It's really simple. It's just 2 bolts, couple of plates. You know, we're talking a very low amount of money to build this stuff. So we'll just keep going on. Don't forget the simple stuff like scissors, blue tape, these little connections. There's the valves that I use. See? Little valve. So we'll just keep pushing forward. We'll keep moving on. So I'm just gonna keep putting these videos together. I'm gonna keep pulling stuff out. See, look in here. I got an endless amount. See, of these elastic bands. So I never run out of these little pulleys, the string for it. I never run out. Okay, I always got my belts. So I got balloons in here. Let's see what else. Let's see. I got a cold fusion reactor laying in there. I mean, I'm just starting to drag everything out. I'm going to show you guys. We covered a lot of the chemistry, explaining the water, explaining what shows up at which electrode and when and where, what electricity to use. And see, with that amount of gas coming in right there, you can see how much electrical power I'm pulling down this DC power supply by looking over here at the wall. See, I have it set to run really fast. So it's pulling 2.5 amps, about 265 watts. So I need this one to run really fast. So you have to build your reactors for the job at hand. Think about that. And you have to look at your elements and what you have to work with. Let's go over here. So you can see I'm always testing equipment. I want to make sure stuff works before I put it in there. You know, I usually plug it in and do a test. I'll check everything. There we go. So I'm always testing this stuff. Make sure my electronics work. Make sure equipment works before you go hooking it up to something and putting it inside there permanently. You know, sometimes I put lights inside of these. So you can see the difference between that fresh water, working with fresh water, and then working with water that has another element to it. It's very different. See, and everything you see on the table here, this is everything I need for my welding department. See, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm working on each individual section. I want to make sure I have this done first. Everything I need on this table to be successful, to fix things in the future if something breaks. That's Murphy's Law. If something could go wrong, it can and it will. So you have to be able to make repairs. It's very important. See, I have my connections right here. These are very important to hook up to my propane or other gases if I have access to a non-renewable energy and I have to burn it a lot cleaner. I can do that by adding oxygen to it. So I'm going to just keep making these videos. Like I said, I'm going to keep spamming the web with these hydrogen videos. I'm going to slap them together as fast as I can. Always working on my equipment. Sharpen your sword, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only way you're going to get away from these non-renewables. That's how the energy games work. This is your ace. Think about that. And the current pyramid will come down like a house of cards.